Another welcome to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbao. Now, the former Ghana Football Association chairman, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, has expressed the support for Kete Kreku's bid for re-election as GFA president, asserting that Okreku deserves another 4-year term despite recent criticisms from certain quarters. Now, Kete Kreku is gearing up to face off against former GFA vice president George Afriyie as he vies for re-election, aiming to secure another term in office. Now, Nyaho Tamaklo's endorsement of Kete Kreku stems from his belief that Okreku took the helm of Ghana's football during a tumultuous period and managed to steer the association towards stability and progress within a relatively short span of time. Now, he's been speaking, and we have quotes of some of the things he's been saying, and you can see over there, he says that I want to endorse Kete Kreku for the upcoming FA elections, and my reasons are very simple. We came out of very turbulent waters not long ago, and Kete Kreku was able to stabilize it. He said the FA was in the hands of a group that was appointed by FIFA and the government to try and manage affairs, but Kete has been able to stabilize things. He told Graphic Sports there, and he continued, emphasizing that Kete Kreku has been able to come out with some project, and I believe strongly that if he is given the opportunity, he will take the FA far. And he didn't end there. He added that this time round, it's only 2 terms, unlike previously, where one could contest as many as he wants. So it's better we give him, Kete Kreku, the opportunity than go in for somebody who has not learnt the ropes properly. So that's Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo there, expressing his support for Kete Kreku, who will be contesting George Afriyie in that September 27 elections of the Ghana Football Association presidential contest, which will be happening in Tamale. So we'll keep tabs on that and bring you up to speed of development in that election. But elsewhere at Accra Heart of Folk, where Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo is a board member, chairman and majority shareholder of Heart of Folk, Togbe Afede the 16th, he has strongly criticized the negative behavior of some team supporters, claiming that their negativity is discouraging future sponsors. Now, Afede's comments underline his fears about the club's image and growth prospect as a result of the fans' attitude. Now, in recent times, ardent Phobian fans have been vociferous in voicing their displeasure with the team's lackluster performance. This content grew to the point when fans deposed former coach Lavko Matic. The Serbian was fired from training and did not return to lead the team last season. And during a recent meeting with stakeholders, the Afede the 16th expresses his pleasure with some supporters' hostile demeanor.
The biggest challenge we have had so far has been from our own people. The biggest challenge from our own people, which is not fair. Even in the animals' kingdom, I'm sorry to say, lions, they come together. They won't betray one of their own to highness. Would they do that? They won't do that. Lions will come together and defend their own against highness, let alone betray. I mean, that's the only thing I know, where others always insults, negativity, insults, so that even the good things we are doing, people will paint a negative picture, rubbish even the movement that we are building, which is the envy of many other clubs. It's not right. Dr. Nyaho said it. We all cannot think alike, and that's the beauty of humanity. Because we cannot think alike, that's why we're making progress. Your idea comes, his idea comes, my idea comes. All we see is progress. If we all think alike, it means what? Our forward march will be stifled. We can't make progress. That's a reality. That is the reality. Since we took what has been the biggest challenge, making it go for us to raise sponsorship, because people think we're always fighting. People think we're always fighting. Those who have been against us have succeeded in stifling our progress. Some of the things we are seeing up man, for example, could have happened much earlier. a lot of the dreams would have been materializing much earlier. But from within, we are fighting. If the crocodile comes from the river and tells you about the nature of life there, can you dispute it? So people come from here, pretend, I'm talking about the family as a folk, pretend they know every bad that is happening and go and present it. Everybody believes it because it's coming from our supporters. Because no supporter is known to undermine his own. So if supporter is undermining his own, then there must be some truth in it. If he comes from the house and says the house is burning, it must be true, but it's not true. I said, for example, we never sack Papish. Some people like to say it every day up till now that we sack Papish. Even though they know the truth, why are we like this? People know we didn't sack Kenichi. But they so dishonestly and wickedly will say that every day.
Now, Ghanaian athletes Safo Ansah and Rose Eboa will miss out on the upcoming World Athletics Championship in Budapest after they were denied visas by the Hungarian embassy in Accra. Now, my colleague Fento Tahiru has been explaining why they were unable to get these visas to travel for the World Athletics Championship.
Now, Rose Eboa was in China competing at the World University Games, the FISU Games for Ghana. Of course, she's a student at the University of Cape Coast. There she did really well. She broke the national record, Abigail's record, which stood previously at 1.91. 92? She took it to 1.94, which is brilliant. But it's worth noting that that mark was not what qualified her for the championship. The qualifying mark by performance for the women's high jump is 1.97. So that's not how she qualified. But last year, she was in Mauritius. And she won gold at the African Senior Athletics Championships. So she qualified by virtue of being area champion.
I thought it. That was 1.79 meters jump.
Yes. But she was African champion. And that's how she qualified for the competition. Now, with that qualification, it wasn't automatic because area champions would only be considered after the qualifying period is over. And when they realize, for example, when they go through the list and they don't have the required number of athletes per event, if there is space left, then they can go to some of those matrix. So in that regard, it means that the confirmation of the qualification spot would delay until the very last minute. So because of that, Rose's confirmation, the confirmation of her qualification came very late. It came on the 10th of August. Okay. Now, on that 10th of August, it was the very day the GAA were also trying to do their Congress. And that was also the deadline for them to register Rose for the championships. What I have been told reliably was that when they tried to register Rose, it became apparent that her passport had less than 6 months in it. So if it happens like that, embassies, in fact, even registering her for the competition itself for World Athletics was problematic. So the GA actually tried to get service passports for her in order to enable her travel to Budapest for the competition without necessarily needing the visa. You know, but according to my sources, even that didn't work out, and so it obviously wasn't going to work. So when it comes to Rose, I can confirm that even though it was an issue to do with her travel document, she wasn't denied visa per se, because they couldn't even put documents together to apply for her visa. You know, they tried instead to get a different kind of passport that would let her circumvent the visa process, because her original passport that she has doesn't even qualify for most of those embassies' requirements. So that was what happened with Rose. So a very complicated situation. So there's first the late qualification, And then second, the very little time that they had to register her. And when it became apparent that her passport had only 6 months left, they tried to get a service passport, which also didn't work out. And there wasn't even enough time to get a new passport, to apply for the visa, and then try to get her to go to Budapest. So that's that. Safo Ansah, on the other hand, was denied visa when he applied at the very beginning, because at the beginning he was actually earmarked to be one of those athletes that would be on standby. So the GAA took proactive action to try and apply for him
very early.
But he was denied alongside another prominent journalist and the team lead for Ghana Athletics himself, now the president of the Ghana Athletics, Ba Hussein himself, was denied a visa. So the leader of delegation to take the athletes to the competition was denied a visa. It's a crazy story.
Very interesting.
It is a crazy story. And to make matters worse, all of Ghana's athletes who travel from here to France for the camping before eventually planning to Budapest will all be competing in Budapest with visas they acquired through the French embassy.
The French embassy,
And not a single person has been issued a visa going to compete at this competition from the Hungarian embassy for a competition that is happening in Hungary. And because already someone like Ba Hussein, of course, was going to go with the athletes that were going to France for the camping, and the athletes that were also going to France for the camping didn't need the Hungary visa after all, because they were going to France before Hungary. They could have acquired both, and in fact, I've been told that Gadayi also tried. They applied for both Gadayi and Safo Ansah for the Hungary. And then Raymond French and Solomon Diafo, and also Florence Hadjiman, the local contingent, and all of them were denied visas. But because they were camping in France already ahead of the competition, they went to the French embassy for their camping visas to France, and they got issued France visas. And then it became apparent that they didn't need the Hungarian visas after all. The problem with Safo Ansah's situation was he wasn't originally part of the team that was supposed to camp in France. He was supposed to fly to Hungary and meet the team in Hungary directly. Unfortunately for him, because he wasn't part of the France contingent, they didn't apply for it.
Well, now let's talk about Christian Atsu and his partner, Marie-Claire Rupio, have spoken for the first time 6 months after the passing of the Ghanaian international. Now, in the exclusive interview with BBC Radio 5 Live, Rupio spoke about how she broke the news to her kids and the hope that Christian Atsu's name would never fade. Let's head to Germany now for the latest in the domestic football league there, and we're joined by Chris Harrington of our partner station DWTV. Chris, good to have you again. Over the weekend, it happened that Harry Kane made his debut at Bayern Munich. Unfortunate for him there, he lost the Super Cup to RB Leipzig. Of course, we wait to see how they will fare when the league starts. But the league is starting on Friday, and Bayern themselves, they were playing Bremen. Well, I am here in the Joy News studio, and I am Razak. That's all for Prime Sports. Up next is PM Express.